My name is Jeanne Boge. I am a professor of nursing at Western Norway University of Applied Science. I have made 4 videos about some of the key theories of the French sociologist Pierre Bourdieu and how they can be used as instruments in praxeological studies. The first video is about Bourdieu and some of his key theories. The second video deals with praxeological epistemology and the construction of habitus. The third video is about praxeological analysis of documents. The fourth and final video deals with praxeological interviews and observations. Bourdieu was born in 1931 and came from a family and a village in France where higher education was unusual. He was the exception who climbed to the top of the French education system to become one of the world's leading sociologists. He felt he was neither the village boy nor a worldly academic. This experience of being in between might have contributed to giving him a good position from which to see social inequality and dominance. Bourdieu has generated a number of theories that can be used as instruments in praxeological studies. The theory of practical sense and habitus is key to understand Bourdieu's perspectives. He argues that individuals are agents who act in accordance with an embodied practical sense that is embedded in institutions and families. Usually, learning is not conscious imitation, but rather a form of unconscious miming. Bourdieu argues that men mimic men and women mimic women, but men and women's social practices have different status. The masculine dominance is a symbolic, invisible, gendered violence that is reproduced by men and women in ordinary daily life, despite formalized equal rights. Bourdieu argues that the education system does not contribute to equality, but instead serves to reproduce class differences, because they who come from families with higher education have better preconditions for succeeding in the school system than those who come from families with low education. Teachers do not only reward knowledge, but also language, behavior, and style. Bourdieu argues that the dominant social class represent the legitimate culture and has the power to be taste makers. Their taste, social codes, and cultural practices are symbolic devaluations of the taste, social codes, and cultural practices in lower social classes. Bourdieu argues that there are strict norms for how to speak and write a language, and that linguistic situations function as a market where different languages have different values. The education system's emphasis of the legitimate language is simultaneously a devaluation of other linguistic forms. Bourdieu argues that there is hierarchy between different territories, and that those who come from a low status territory can be considered less important than other people. Bourdieu argues that the role of academia is to legitimize and reproduce the dominant structures in a society. Faculties of theology, law, and medicine have been given a superior position because it is expected that these faculties will have the strongest and most stable impact on the public. Bourdieu argues that those who have power define what is normal and abnormal, right and wrong, and get those with less power to believe in these definitions. Power relationships will persist if it's not recognized, because when no one verbalizes this power, its existence is accepted. This is how the power becomes invisible and perceived as something natural. Bourdieu refers to this form of dominance as symbolic violence. In this video, I have presented several theories that can be used as theoretical instruments in praxeological studies. The next video deals with praxeological epistemology and the constructions of habitus.